we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. And same as always, man. Talking about this money. I know you want some. It's Friday. You got some money, but don't you want a little bit more? So getting into it, you know, first we're gonna talk about your budget. We're gonna go ahead, stick with the budget plan. We're gonna be writing down everything, tender with our purchase. Make sure you limit your purchases on the weekend. A lot of times people overdraft on the weekend due to the purchases on the weekend. Limit your purchase. Make sure, some people who like to spend a lot may need to only deal in cash on the weekend. You know, may need to only deal in cash during the week because it sets you only can spend what you have in your hand compared to you're trying to spend everything on the card and you don't see. I remember a couple of times having conversations with my cousins. They would always overspend on the weekend and get mad because they had a whole bunch of overdraft. I ain't gonna say what bank well does that, but they normally um, hit you with the overdraft fees, and they always start with the largest purchase. So I actually, what was it? I had 15 overdrafts one weekend. So my cell phone bill, I think it was like 300 or something. So that came out. But then I had like my small payments. I went to the store, bought something to drink, $30 on gas. Um, bought the family some food for about 75. Went to Walmart, got a couple of things, groceries and stuff. Throughout the weekend. So I think I had about um, probably $500 in my account, $500 or $600, somewhere around in there. And I know I had big purchases, which was the cell phone. Everything else was a small purchase. And I paid that cell phone, I believe it was Sunday night, you know, as they call it, chronological order in which things go. I was under the assumption, okay, um, I'm short, I think it was $50. I said, well, I go ahead and pay it, deposit the money in on Monday. They just give me one overdraft for this, but I have the money if they don't, and I'll just, borrow from somebody, whatever, and pay it. Little did I know, this is before my wife, or was it when we was together, but one stand or something, one of the two. But other way, so I end up getting like 15 overdrafts. Or was it I had less money? I don't know. Some big purchase came out, I don't know, for the lease. I think what they did was they took the biggest purchase out first, which was the $300, and the other small purchases. So I had to have like two big purchases, either or. But say the least, they tried to hit me with like 15 overdraft. And when I called and talked to them, and I said, I see that you took out the biggest purchases first versus, in order in which I, purchased them. And, their claim was, well, the computer doesn't do that. The computer just take them out as they come through in the process. So I said, cool. They gave me this whole excuse, and I closed my account like the next day. I made sure I went, um, paid up the overdraft, zeroed out my account, uh, went and got some things changed, and then turned around. I think I direct deposit whatever I had because I was supposed to get paid that week coming up. So I had direct deposit, I had to get that, squared away. And then next thing you know, I fooled around, didn't deal with them no more. Say the least. That was the same issue my cousin had as well. Boss lady in the building. Same issue my cousins had when they were young, learning about money, that they will overspend on the weekend and then come Monday complain about overdrafts and why their account is messed up. So it was a learning process. I didn't get it until I learned, and preventing my cousins from doing the same, it was kind of hard because they was on the same, kind of mindset I was. I spend this, I know what I got, I'm this and that. And then when the overdrafts come, you feel frustrated and, feeling crazy that, hey, why is all these overdrafts in my account? But like I say, nevertheless, always talking about money. So now we're going to go into situations where you're making money because, like I said, it's Friday. People have gotten paid already. But for the people that haven't gotten paid or want more money, what are your options? You know, I always talk about gig apps. There's plenty of apps to the degree you can runs, flat power, what's going on? You can actually take a delivery on Uber with a bike. Uber Eats. Uber Eats has it to where you can ride a bike and deliver food. Get your cardio in and you can make money. You know, there's situations to where if you don't have a car, that's an option. You can use apps. They do surveys. You know, most of the time you have surveys that are $25 an hour. You know, $25 for 30 minutes. You got some surveys that are 75 and $100. They're a little more complex. You got to do a little more work, but it's all on the computer. You know, one of the things I want to get into is like the mystery shoppers. That's you get paid to shop at department stores. Um, my aunt has a app. I believe it's Kick. It's not Kickstart. It's Kick something, but to a degree, all she do is normal purchases. She take pictures of the receipt. Hi, what's going on with you? She take pictures of the receipts. Panama City, what's going on? So she take pictures of the receipts, and when she take pictures of the receipts, she download them into the app for points. It might tell her while you're in the store, go to an aisle that sells baking powder and take a picture of the price. So most of the time they telling you to do that, and this is a trick that I noticed too. I told my aunt about this. I said they're getting you to do their dirty work, and she was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, with most companies, you have to end up sending someone out, getting them to actually look at the products on the shelf and take pictures and send them back to the people. So therefore, if you're getting the customers to do this, it limits the amount of workers to come in and do this right here. But also, when you're getting points, you can redeem those points for purchases on different items. You can redeem those points. They don't let you redeem them for money, but to a degree, you can redeem them for gift cards. So it's just like money. And when it comes down to it, you have so many points, you can use them in a assortment of things. You know, so that's what the app provides. Just like another app, um, Upside. You know, I was using Upside. I actually got it downloaded because I got some points still on there. But the thing about Upside is, I'm already gonna buy gas anyway, so why not use Upside to save money at the pump? So Upside is an app that lets you get discounts when purchasing gas. Say the gas is 15 cent more average. With Upside, they might find a gas station that's 15 cent more than average, but that 15 cent come back to you. Let's say if gas is 3.50. If gas is 3.50, Upside might give you 8 cent per gallon. So if you get 20 gallons, you know, times 8, what that is, $1.60. So you have $1.60 on the Upside app. And the thing that makes me more money with the Upside, because the crazy things, I had a Shell account, so you can't use the Shell account with Upside because they will sit there and not let you use it, redeem your points, because you can't use both. But I do it a better way. I use my credit card. So I'm actually getting points with my credit card, and I'm using the Upside app as well. So I'm building points on my credit card, and I think with most of the time with gas and stuff, they're like 2 times the points, depending on what card you have. And you can take that card for your credit card. You're gonna buy gas anyway. And let's say you have the money in the account. For those that are bad with spending and paying on your credit card, if you're gonna buy gas anyway, use your credit card, use the Upside app, and then automatically go into your credit card and pay it right then. You know, think about my credit card that I have. What's going on, Dr. Mark in the building? Flawless mentality. What's going on? So I see Tampa stepping in too. What's going on, Tampa Spring? So basically, with my credit card, I think I have the one for American Express. I use that one the most. So I can just actually log into my account and pay. It has a pay right now. It has a split the bill, and to a degree, however I want to structure it. So a lot of times I'll just sit there, go on the app, find out which one I want to do, and I can actually pay it right away. Because most of the time, people who are bad with credit cards, they'll say, "Well, I just pay it later. Well, I just use this credit card only for emergencies," and every day becomes an emergency. That's how most people run their credit cards up. You know, if you're bad with spending with your credit card, if you have the money, go ahead and pay right then. If not, you know, fraction it out to where you have yourself. OCD chick, what's going on? But a lot of times people are bad with spending with their credit cards. See, this is one of the reasons why I always, try to say rationalize, write stuff down, create a budget. See, that's the thing. When you're creating a budget, you're helping yourself, you know, take advantage of all the resources that you have, far as with saving money with using these apps, far as with, budgeting so you can have more money to, buy more gas every week, instead of putting 20 here, 20 there, you can actually go the point of actually filling up your tank. You know, this is the thing for most people. You have to ration and budget out. Majority of the time, every time I get gas, majority of the time I always try to fill up to make what's going on. So, like I said, you can use the Upside app, save points for your gas, use your credit card to get points for your credit card, and then redeem those points. And the crazy part about my credit card, when I have those points, to actually use the points to pay for my bill, literally no point. I'm talking about I will have 5,000 points, probably give me like $25. But I can take 3,000 points and get a $50 gift card. So it doubles when I use a gift card through the app. So why not just use the gift card? You know, why not redeem it that way? Another way, when me looking at different ways of me spending my money and saving, just overall looking at all my purchases. Like I said, most of the time people use points, and it comes to this point where a lot of times you might have a lot of rich people using their points to benefit them. Hold on, I got to get everybody in here, make sure everybody ranked up. Everybody in here, have their wrenches, so they're able to go to other people's channel, sub easily. I don't want to have you typing in the names, can't find them due to misspell or spelled a certain type of way. Make it easy on you. Make it easy on me because I like channels to grow. I like channels to work with each other and help with each other. So next best thing. And what's going on? Bunny's in the building. I already shouted out to Mika. But overall, back to the topic at hand, saving your money. Using your credit card is the best way to advance yourself and to get a lot of money back into you. A lot of times, people don't notice you have a lot of people that use credit cards just for the points. And then they will redeem those points in trips and things, you know, especially with those flyer miles. I got a cousin, he used his credit card just for the flyer points. So when it's time for him to go places, he used the points for flights. You know, he has a Delta account. He goes to the Delta Skybox. I used to deliver to the Delta Skybox when I worked for this company. All their food, um, pretty much the things that they had. They had a contract with this restaurant that I delivered to at night. It was one of my second jobs. I did it at night. Wasn't that many hours, in and out, in and out. But the thing of it was, like I was telling my cousin when he had got that, I said, man, you get to take advantage of the Delta what is it, the lounge, Delta Lounge. I'm like, that's good. And then some cards, like American Express, they have perks to where you can go to those lounges. You know, they work with certain companies, so you can actually go to those lounges and have the same benefits, you know, as well. So that's another key thing, having those cards as a perk. The biggest thing, a lot of times we don't take advantage of with credit is because we don't know how to use it. One of my friends, it was funny. Um, he said his mother told him the best thing for you to do is not get a credit card. Credit cards are a waste of time and they hurt your pocket. And as he got older, he started learning about credit cards through his wife. His wife, it was funny because she never had a well, I won't say never, but as of now and over the years, she never had an interest rate for her car loans in the double digits. You know, majority, I think the third car that I known her to have, they were all in the single digits when she went and got her car loan because she knew about credit. And I talk about this a lot where a lot of parents aren't teaching their kids credit. You know, a lot of times, like money in the building, what's going on? Hey man, it's Friday, man. It's another one that I need money. So a lot of parents aren't teaching their kids about credit. And so if you're not teaching your kids about credit, they're at a disadvantage because when it comes down to it, you're not able to get a lot of your kids to take the next step in life. It's one thing to be an adult. It's one thing to pay your bills and provide for your family. It's another thing that I always talk about is having the knowledge. The biggest thing is having the knowledge. When having the knowledge, that sets you at a higher plateau or a stage better than most people because knowledge is power. And a lot of times we neglect or not even understand the knowledge, you know, and that's the thing. A lot of people, you know, and then the crazy part is it's not even a disadvantage that our parents didn't want to teach us this. Some parents won't even admit it, but they're ashamed because they didn't know about credit. They didn't know about things. I told you, my friend said his mom told him don't get credit. While his wife, on the other hand, her parents were putting her on the credit card as an authorized user at 17 years old. So when turning 18, coming into the credit game, you already have credit. You know, putting the kid as an authorized user earliest, I think the earliest is 16, 15, somewhere around in there. And, you know, credit starts, profile starts rolling in, but you're already in the system. Your socials and everything is already in the system. And see, that's the thing. Teaching them about 401k. Don't you know, I worked at my job since I was 17 years old. One of my longest career jobs that I had. I worked at that job since I was 17. When I turned 19 and was working there full time, I worked there every summer until I graduated. But the crazy part about it was when they introduced me to the 401k plan, I didn't get into it. I didn't, see the benefit. I didn't understand it. Now I have a big understanding. I would have actually invested in an IRA versus doing a 401k. But that's just me from doing my research. 401ks are still good. It's not a bad plan. They're not giving certain things, but the things that I've done my research on, IRA would have probably been my best one. Or like I'm doing now, keeping it together with my life insurance. I would invest if I knew what I knew now, I would have invested in a universal life insurance right out the gate. Only thing I knew about was getting a whole life plan or getting a term life plan. See, that's why I said a whole nother level. Make this go viral. What's going on? So that's the thing. A lot of times our parents, like my great grandmother, she told everybody, get life insurance. You don't want to be a burden to anyone. You do not want to be a burden because if you don't have life insurance, the family have to get together and bury you, you know. And I've always talked about this and said that, when I die, it's not gonna be no if it's a fish fry, it's because people wanted fish. It's not to raise money, you know. It's not gonna be a GoFundMe. If people start a GoFundMe account, it's because they wanted to start a GoFundMe account to, help with other things, not with funeral arrangement, not with anything far as taking care of my family, because that's my responsibility. And that's the reason why I have this life insurance for, you know. And one of my friends, say the least, we was having this same conversation and we was laughing. We was like, well, ain't gonna be no fish fries and GoFundMe's when I die. We was laughing at it because, majority of the time, people not on this level. People are not thinking like this. People are not, you know, trying to be 5 and 10 steps ahead. I told my wife this should be enough money for you to actually not work for, a year or two, pay off the house, get some things situated, you know. And my biggest thing, like I tell her, is you have this amount of money, go invest in some apartments. People gonna real estate is always gonna be a big game because people are always gonna need somewhere to stay. You got the likeness of banks now purchasing homes and renting them to people, you know, and they talk about this a lot.
The way to generational wealth is through properties, life insurance. Those are the two, in my opinion. We can go through others, passive incomes and all that. But for just generally most people, just the basic buying a property, paying it off, or buying a property and holding it. On average, most people are buying. I've looked through probably thousands upon thousands of houses, not millions. I haven't got that far, but thousands of houses, and seeing the rate of return every 5 to 10 years. Houses are increasing by 20%, 30%, some almost 50%. One of my friends, he bought his house, I think it was in 2012. Bought the house in 2012 and ended up selling it last year. Nope, it was in 2010 because he had it for 12 years. 2010, and he had it for 12 years. It sold it 2022. With him selling this house, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I always forget this a lot. Every time, I'm a YouTuber now, so I gotta say this. Drop your links. Everybody, drop your links if you want to. If not, that's on you. Drop your links, hit the like button. Hey, I like sharing. I try to get people motivated, go to other people's channel. I can't force you to. I can't force people to go to people's channels, but at the same time, check them out. If you like them, sub to them. If not, that's your game. I'm not forcing anybody to deal with anybody they don't want to deal with. I'm not forcing anybody to sub to people's channels. I always say this: go ahead, check people's channels out. Get a feel. You know, if and say the least, you might don't like one of the topics that they're talking about. Maybe it was a bad day. Maybe you weren't feeling it. Go to another video and see how that is. But more or less saying the least, the guy had the house for 12 years. He bought the house at 250 and ended up selling the house. Once he bought the house, he ended up selling the house for 550. So he ended up making $300,000 in the course of 12 years off his house. $300,000 after initial paying down whatever he had to pay off on his house that he had left. He walked away with a pretty good amount. And he was just getting into the 15-year mark, and that's when you start paying more towards your principal. And I always get this word tongue twisted and tied, amortization schedule. Basically, is where you sit there and you have it to where your amortization schedule, it shows you how much money you're paying into the principal. It shows you how much money you're paying into the interest. And over the course of the years, where's your money going? So a lot of times people don't look at this schedule. They just pay. They just pay. But not knowing, if you pay one extra payment per year, you're knocking off almost 2 years, three the most. Let's say you pay an extra one every quarter, you're going into the point of, actually knocking off almost 8 to 10 years. And you're putting those payments on the principal. See, that's another thing. A lot of people just go put extra payments in and they'll just want to add an extra payment. No, you want a dean to let them know that when you make those extra payments, you're putting it on the principal. The principal is the main payment for the house. The interest is what the bank is charging you for loaning you the money. So that's the thing. You want to get into that. Like I say, going into the housing market, you want to go into that real quick. I was just talking with a friend and we was having a conversation about buying a house. And I told him straight up, he's like, man, I'm thinking about waiting on the market to go down before I buy. I was like, what do you mean? Well, um, it's to a consideration now that the interest rate is so high. If I buy a house now, man, that interest rate gonna be high through the roof. I said, so in 2 years, if it keeps going up and the value of houses go up, would you buy then? I said, because then you'd be You be way over your budget, you know? Yeah, you right. And I said, then also, it doesn't change the value of the house because value of houses in neighborhood increase yearly. So a lot of people complain about taxes, but most of your taxes are, paying for the things around in your neighborhood, your kids, their school, the fire station, the police, all that's what your taxes going towards. And a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of places, it goes up simply because of that, you know. And like I told them, if you buy now, you buy a $200,000 house now at 8%, 7%, it's kind of high, but you're in good standing. Let's say the interest rate goes down, you might get a refinance for 5%, you know, four if it gets lower. Then to the degree, um, the house. Let's say that same house that you're buying for 200,000 in the next 3 years, that same house is worth 350. If that same house is worth 350, are you willing to pay 350 at a 7% versus 200 at a 7% 2 years ago? Or better yet, let's pay 350 at a 5%. Well, the interest rate is low, but the value of the house is more expensive. So that's why I always say when I talk about buying a house and I tell people now is the best time to buy a house. If you can qualify for it, don't wait till the market change. Don't wait till the interest rate go down because if the interest rate goes high, you're out of luck. If the interest rate go down, but the value of the houses have gone up, then what good is that? It's the same as a $200,000 house at 8% is the same almost as buying a $300,000 house at probably 5%. It's gonna fraction out almost the same because the value of the house is more expensive on the back on the front end, and the interest rate is low on the back end. As far as the other house, the value of the house is low, but the interest rate is high on the front end. So you're paying more on that end. So, like I said, best time is now to buy a house. You know, check out brokers. Dealing with a broker, banks. You have good relationships with your bank. If you have awesome relationship with your bank, deal with your bank versus going with just anybody. DJ Run, what's going on? Hey, did you check out the guy Big Black I sent you or told you about? As far as the car shows down here in Atlanta, like they just had one uh Labor Day weekend that Sunday. They typically have them over there at was it in the South Lake area. I think they have a warehouse or something over there where they let them go ahead and have the car shows without any problems. A lot of old schools and stuff. But when it comes down to it, say the least, you gotta understand your pockets. You gotta know what you're gonna do. Like I said, using that upside with a credit card, you get points on the upside. You get points on your credit card. You know, it's a hack. Same thing with other apps, using them to provide, excuse me, to provide money for you. There's a lot of apps you can use that redeem points, you know, towards purchases and stuff like that. There's a lot of different websites. Same as Honey. I think people talks about Honey a lot. I remember Honey was advertised like crazy on everything, giving a lot of discounts. Every time you use your computer, I'm like just kind of upset they don't have it for a mobile. But using Honey for you with your computer, every time you buy something, you click the discount. If you have the Honey website downloaded to your computer, it'll automatically search for coupons, gift cards, gift codes and everything to where you can save money. And that's the key. Saving money and learning how to keep it, you know, it's one thing to put money in the bank. I get that. I understand that with most people. But then it's another thing to put it in a moving vehicle, you know, somewhat of a stock. ETFs, in my opinion, are better. I always say, do your research, you know. Go Go Professor. Shout out to Go P with the 9 laws of self-government. Hey man, I told you, man, if you don't go ahead and write that book on the 9 laws, it ain't it ain't stealing if I tell you that I'm gonna do it. You know. So, I've been talking about these 9 laws of self-government, and I got some discipline. Law number one is discipline. I'm giving discipline because I'm letting you know that I'm gonna take these 9 laws and write a book about it. You might want to go ahead and write that book before I go ahead and take it from you. But I'm giving you discipline because I'm letting you know I'm gonna do it. Shout out to Gold Professor. But more or less along the lines, that's why I keep saying get your finances together. All right. DJ Ron, man, I had to make sure he wrenched up over here. I make yeah, hey, I'm bullying. Hey, it's the internet. That's what people do over here. Even though I would say you never seen me, you don't know me, but you've actually seen me, you actually know me. Had sat down conversation, so I can't say that. So I'm threatening you with an understanding. You know who I am. You know what I'm capable of. You know what I can do. Hey, shout out Go Professor, man. Good brother right there. We sat down and had our conversation. You know, hey y'all, just let y'all know, Go Professor is 5'3". Nah, he taller than that. Shout out Go Professor, man. But yeah, like I said, having that discipline. The 9 laws of self-government. Protecting your money. You know, the thing is, a lot of times, me and Dr. Dunbar, we discussed this. Shout out to Dr. Dunbar. Channel is called Big Discussions 76. Yeah, hey man, I gotta get everybody out here wrenched up because you want to go check out somebody's channel. You got the wrench to do it, man. Click on the person and just go straight to their channel, man. Look, hey, you leave and come back, you leave and don't come back. Hey, hey, the show must go on, baby. The show must go on. But at the same time, hey man, I am. I'm 712. Yeah, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, but at the same time, just giving out this information. More or less, take it, grain of salt. As they say, eat the meat, spit out the bone. When it comes down to this information, just trying to be thorough and getting people situated to a point of focus on what they want to do, how they want to handle things. You know, when it comes down to it, what do you want out of these relationships with your banks? What do you like? When the last time you ever went in there and talked to your bank about getting a loan? How do they qualify? Like, what are your qualifications on a loan? But before even applying for one, what are your qualifications? Normally, how much do you loan out? What are your rates? People looking at getting credit cards with your bank. You've went through so much with this bank. You deposit so much money. They actually see so much money running through your bank. If you're in good standing, your bank will call you because they have a system in which they let people know, hey, this person is awesome. They this and that. I get review calls from my bank all the time, trying to get me to come in and see some of the, different offers they have, some of the changes that they did to the bank, and implementing new policies, and see do I want to take advantage of some things. You know, the point of it is, your money is in this bank. They're taking your money and loaning it out and giving you a return of 0.7. Let's look at some things at this bank like CDs or something. It might be locked in for a couple of months, but like almost a year. But let's see how much of a return we can get on this if it's just sitting in the savings. You know, for people that like having money in the savings and it's just sitting there not doing anything, take some of it in and buy a CD. Get a return on it higher. You know, they have internet companies that do CDs that give you awesome returns. And on top of that, with those rates from them, you can pull out in 3 months. If you choose not to keep it in there for a 12-month, 24-month term, they have it after the first 3 months you can pull out. But the initial contract that you want to set up, 12 months, 18 months, 3 months, however you want to set it up. But they want at least minimum 3 months so they can actually take the money, circulate and do better. And they're giving 5%. Some of them giving 5%. Like I say, do your homework. Don't take my advice. Do your homework. You know, you got some credit card companies. A lot of people like those bonuses when you get on there. No interest rate for the no interest rate for the first year. You know, no um well, they give points. You know, I think with American Express, a lot of times when you sign on to them in certain signature cards or just certain cards that they have, you start out the gate with 10,000 points. You start out the gate with 5,000 points. And then, and within 3 months, if you spend so much money, they give you another 10,000 points, another 5,000 points, you know. But the thing is, you got to qualify for these cards. What are the qualifications? So many times I've been on YouTube looking at different videos. Um, April Showers, how you doing? And a lot of times you'll have situations with these credit card companies. Hey, I can't think of the lady name. It's Sherry something. She has videos that show you how to use different credit cards, different, banks to get more money off these credit cards. You know, different qualifications, different criteria they have for you to qualify where you can get this money. Nevertheless, you sit here, let's use Navy Federal, for example, because that's what I got. Say you use Navy Federal. Navy Federal has an internal credit system check. So Navy Federal doesn't go like even though they can use Equifax and all those companies, they have an internal credit system as far as dealing with giving credit cards and stuff like that. And it's automated through a computer, which you can use at night or during the daytime to where you take the human emotions out of it, you know. So they're going strictly off your criteria of how you deal with them. And a lot of people don't know. With Navy Federal, you get qualified for a high yield credit card faster and better than anyone that, you know, has already been with Navy Federal for 10 years if you have direct deposit. You can be with Navy Federal 10 years, probably got like $2,000 in there, in and out every other month or every couple of months or something like that, compared to someone that has a direct deposit. They have a better relationship with the bank because the bank actually knows that hey, this person's here for the long haul. They're keeping their money in here through their check versus a person just throw some money in there every now and then, take it back out, throw it in there, take it back out. It's just using the account as a whole, you know, a placeholder, in this process. So, nevertheless, that's one of the ways you know that hey, if I have direct deposit with my bank, I have more of a standing relationship with them. You know, it's ways of working with your money, but you just have to learn them. That's why I always talk about seeking the knowledge and getting the information. That's why I always talk about that knowledge itself of you. You actually putting in the work, giving you knowledge yourself. Because you're having an understanding of the things that you're doing, the knowledge that you're, learning and applying it. So nevertheless, man, like I say, even with this right here, your 9 to 5. It's okay to deal with your 9 to 5, but some people, what about your 5 to 9? Shout out to Dr. Dunbar with this. Big discussion 76. We have our discussions and we talked about this a couple of times on the channel about dealing with your 5 to 9. 5 to 9, what are you doing after work? You know, you going driving for Uber? You know, are you doing DoorDash? Are you doing some type of gig app? Are you doing surveys? There's a website by the name of AXC or C or ACX. I always forget one of the two. I think it's AXC. But basically, use this app.com to go on there and read books. How many people read already? How many people are good speakers? Audible. They need people to read these books. A lot of times, people who write the books don't have time to read these books and make it an audible. They would love to. I know the people who write the books, people would love to hear their voice. But if you don't have the time, someone can read it for you and you can pay them. You know, my brother, his girlfriend does that. And she don't even have a big studio or nothing. She has like goes right into the closet. A lot of noise canceling because of the clothes. It, kills the echoing and all that. Going right in there to that closet. She has Apple. She has an iPhone, so she has the Apple headset. Sit right there with her laptop, or sometimes she reads from her phone. But I think mostly from the laptop though. And there you go. That's another way of making money. Like I say, surveys. What are you doing on your 5 to 9? You can make a little money, clock out, go home. Make a little money, clock out, you're already home. So basically, it's up to you. However you want to handle this, you know, if you need money, there's ways of getting money. Do the research. There's a lot of times, a lot of people I tell, go Google search ways of making money legally, legit ways. You can go search legit ways of making money. How to make money from my cell phone, how to make money from my computer, how to make money by driving my car. I need money. Me too. And we've been friends ever since. Shout out to How High the movie. Just thinking about that stuff is crazy. But nevertheless, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. Shout out to everybody that came through. You know, the mission is always gonna be the same. Focus on, getting some money in your pocket. Focus on improving yourself. Make sure you get life insurance most of all, and you know, create a level playing field when it comes to your mind. Have an understanding. This is the only mind you're gonna have. You know, take care of it. You know, educate it, work it out. Protect it. With that being said, shout out to everybody that came through. You know what I always say when we get ready to leave here. We here and we gone.